Welcome, mystics and seekers of ancient truths. Today we step beyond the veil into the temples of Egypt, where gods walked as humans and rituals carried the soul into eternity. The opening of the mouth ritual was not just a funerary rite, it was a mystical key to reawaken the divine spark within. But what does this ancient ceremony mean for us today? Can a rite from 3,000 or more years ago still empower us to help us speak our truth, see the divine, and awaken the sacred self? Let us find out. The ritual of the opening of the mouth is one of the oldest documented magical ceremonies in human history. It appears as early as the Old Kingdom, 2500 BCE, in the pyramid texts, continues in the coffin texts of the Middle Kingdom, and finally into that great text of the New Kingdom, what we call the Book of the Dead. Originally used from evidence in pictures, on tombs, and in texts, it was used on the statues of gods and kings, and later on in mummies, and possibly, we can infer, used as initiatory practices. And its purpose was clear. As we see in the Old Kingdom pyramid texts from Utterance 23, so that he may breathe the air, eat with his mouth, see with his eyes, hear with his ears, and walk with his legs. This ritual wasn't just about preparing for the afterlife. It is about restoring power, or as the ancient Egyptian would have said, sechem, to the being, whether divine, deceased, symbolic, or potentially personal. To open the mouth was to restore the capacity to speak magic, to speak power, to declare truth, to activate life force. This is Heka, the creative power of speech. The Pesenschef tool, a fish-shaped device, sometimes made of gold or ivory, was first used in childbirth. In this context, it symbolizes ritual rebirth. The rituals were performed by a priest assuming the role of Horus or Anubis, or as the Egyptians would have said, Heru or Ampu, calling upon gods such as Thoth or Tehuti, god of wisdom and speech, Hathor or Hethor, goddess of joy and resurrection, and in far antiquity, the supreme mother goddess, Anubis or Ampu, guide of the souls and the original lord of the realms of death, and Ptah, creator god, who spoke the world into being. Offerings usually include natron, that type of extremely caustic drying out salt which was to purify, incense for the spirit, milk and beer nourishment, sacred oils for anointing, and of course fire for light and transformation. Each element was chosen with intention, each gesture performed with mystic resonance. As it says in the Book of the Dead, in Utterance, or Spell 125, words spoken in purity actions performed in truth, these awaken the eternal self. So let's pause and consider this. In Egyptian belief, the mouth wasn't just for eating or speaking, it was a portal of power. To lose your voice in death was to lose your ability to participate in divine order, ma'at. To speak was to live. To declare was to create. To name a thing was to shape reality. Modern science shows us something similar. Words have measurable effects on water, on emotion, even on DNA expression. So when you say, I am divine, you're not just being poetic. You're casting a spell. Let's this sink in. Take a breath. What words have you been speaking to yourself today? Are they words of power or are they words of diminishment? Let's perform a modern version of the opening of the mouth. This is a ritual of self-remembrance to awaken the faculties dulled by noise, doubt and distraction. Sit with a candle, a small mirror, water and a feather or an ant. This is optional. And make the invocation. O Thoth, scribe of the gods. O Sekhmet, lioness of fire. O Horus, who sees beyond illusion. Open my eyes to the real. Open my eyes to truth. Open my mouth to speak wisdom. Then say, I open my mouth to speak the truth. I open my eyes to see beyond illusion. I open my ears to hear the divine. And as you speak, gently touch mouth, eyes, ears with water or oil. And then seal this. Hands to heart, whisper, I am awakened. I walk in truth. My car is strong. My bar is free. And sit in silence for 60 seconds. The Book of the Dead. It wasn't its name. This was in fact a marketing tool. When the book was initially translated in the 18th century, especially the Papyrus of Ani by E. Wallace Budge, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, or the Bardo Chenmo, was hot stuff. And the Egyptian name for the text, the Per Em Chru, or the coming forth by day, or coming forth into light, just wouldn't buy it. People were primed for Tibetan Book of the Dead. And so, as a marketing ploy, they called it the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Sadly, or fortunately, this is up to you, the name stuck. But many of us who use this text, we prefer the Book of Coming Forth into Day or Light. And it isn't just a guide for the dead. Far from it, it's a manual for transformation. In its incantation, its utterance, sometimes called spell 125. It says, I have not spoken falsehood. I have not uttered evil words. I have not polluted myself. I have purified my mouth. This text was read, memorized, chanted. If you can do it in Egyptian, all the better, but you must do it with meaning. And it is not used to die, but is a way of purifying our speech whilst yet we live. For us today, this text teaches us personal responsibility to walk in ma'at, to walk in balance. It uplifts the sacred power of truth. It reminds us that you are your own judge. You are your own creator. The heart and the word must align. It is not a text that judges you by your failings in the past, but shows us that we can purify our speech. We can speak in falsehood. When you face the gods, you don't just stand there to be judged by your failings, but you can accept, I have not always spoken in truth, but in this I speak without falsehood. I am one who speaks truth. I know I have not always spoken the best, acted the best. But at this moment, to you, O divine judges, to you, O my deeper, truer inner self, I do not speak falsehood. What if we saw our own lives as preparation for eternal awakening, not through fear, but through beauty? Not in terror of eternal damnation, but in hope. Let us engage in a deep meditation in the Heka'anch, the living word. Close your eyes. Breathe in golden light. Exhale confusion. Imagine an ancient temple. Before you glows a golden anch. It pulses with light. As you breathe, its glow enters your lips, your eyes, your ears. Now hear the voice of the stars. You are the breath of the cosmos, the living word, the one who sees, the one who hears, the one who speaks. Rest in this place. Let silence reveal the truth. The ritual of the opening the mouth was never just about the dead. It was for all who seek to live with purpose, to speak from the soul, to see through illusion, to hear the voice of spirit. May you carry this wisdom with you and remember, your voice is sacred. Your vision is eternal. your path is divine. If this awakens something within you, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the Merry Mystic. For we are all merry mystics, and we have the right to walk in joy and speak our own truth. Walk in light, dear traveller, until next time.